Minister Dr. Abdallah, Minister of Youth and Arts, Moya, Minister of State, Honorable Sandrine, UNDP Resident Representative, Fatmata, EU Ambassador, UNFPA Country Representative, PS Moya, PS Mifotra, Development Partners, Private Sector Foundation, the young people of Rwanda, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Bonjour. Namahoro. Wonderful. Mrakazaneza, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules to join us. My name is Jackie Lumbasi, and it is an honor to welcome you to the high-level policy dialogue on Aguka Tracer Study findings. Now, I have a feeling that you're going to love this event. I know most of you in this room attend events from Monday to Monday. We will try our best to make this one the best event that you will have attended this entire month. Today we're going to answer the question of scale, not possibility. The question of possibility was already answered. You're going to witness that when we have findings presented and we have entrepreneurs come on stage to share their experiences. So it's not a question of possibility, it's a question of scale. It's a question of what next. It's a question of where next, who next, and what needs to be done. That is what we will be answering, because from what will be presented, you will realize that Aguka is working. And the biggest task at hand is how to scale that. Now we're going to kick off this session with some remarks. I would love you to join me as I welcome the Minister of State, Minister of Youth and Arts, Honorable Sandrine Umutani.
Honorable Minister, the Ministry of Youth and Arts, dear Dr. Abdallah, Your Excellency Ambassador of the European Union, dear Belen, UNDP Resident Representative, dear Fatmata Giramata, to our Permanent Secretary from Mifotra, excuse me, representatives from the UN agencies, excellencies, ambassadors, esteemed partners from different institutions from across our nation, young entrepreneurs, all protocol observed. Mwaramutse neza. It is my honest pleasure to welcome all of you today to this high-level dialogue on the Aguka Tracer Study findings and the vision shaping its next phase of youth transformation. Allow me to begin first expressing our sincere gratitude to the European Union and UNDP for the strong and consistent partnership that has, over the years, advanced youth development through the Aguka initiative. Today's dialogue will highlight what has been achieved and will call all of us, especially you, the youth present here, so you can tell us how far and fast we should go together. So to all the stakeholders gathered here on this day, I want to thank you for sharing a common ambition, the one of unlocking the full potential of Rwanda's youth. So, esteemed audience, Aguka was designed with a clear purpose: to strengthen the entrepreneurship ecosystem and expand opportunities for young people. And it has done so by providing practical entrepreneurship and employability skills, access to finance, incubation and mentorship, post-incubation support, and critical market and growth opportunities. And thanks to the support received, Aguka has become a flagship initiative and a cornerstone of Rwanda's youth employment agenda. And the evidence, which will be presented in a few minutes, speaks for itself. We have a comprehensive tracer study covering from 2022 to May 2025, showing very strong and measurable impact. We see that businesses have been growing. We see that profitability has improved, taxes were being paid, and communities benefited. Most notably, Aguka has exceeded its initial 4-year target. When we started, we were envisioning to have 100,000 jobs. we actually exceeded that target and reached over 168,000 jobs created. I think this deserves a round of applause. So once again, today is not just about, flattering ourselves and saying that we succeeded where we had some doubts at the beginning. Today is there to establish that we do have a proof of concept, and it comes at a pivotal time. Indeed, as Rwanda is implementing the National Strategy for Transformation 2, the national focus is clear. We have and we need to continue creating decent jobs for youth. We need to continue strengthening skills and productivity. We need to continue advancing innovation and digital transformation, and we need to keep expanding access to finance for youth-led enterprises. And today's theme, From Evidence to Scale, captures exactly where we stand. We now have clear, credible evidence of what works. We have seen young entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their businesses. We have seen their contribution to national economic growth. But most importantly, we have also identified the constraints that must be addressed to go further together. So the question before us is simple. It is simple and it is urgent. How do we scale this impact sustainably? This dialogue will therefore serve as a moment of reflection and a call to action. And as we look to the next phase of Aguka, we must collectively focus on 1, scaling proven approaches for greater and more gender and geographical inclusivity. We need to continue aligning even more closely with NST2 priorities, and we need to do so including emerging sectors such as the creative economy. And last but not least, we need to keep mobilizing stronger partnerships and increased investment to accelerate results. Because Aguka 2.0 is about taking our initiative to the next level with greater precision and ambition. And together, we have the opportunity to transform evidence into action, expand what works, and accelerate Rwanda's journey toward decent jobs, inclusive growth, and sustainable economic transformation. So I encourage each one of you here today to engage actively in today's discussions, to bring your insights, challenge assumptions, and help shape the partnerships that will define the next chapter. Because Rwanda's youth are ready. The model is working, the opportunity is clear. Now is the time for all of us to scale together. Thank you once again, and I wish us all a productive, engaging, and forward-looking dialogue. Murakoze cyane.
Thank you very much for those wonderful remarks, Honorable Sandrine. Ladies and gentlemen, let's appreciate the Honorable State Minister once again. And in case you were wondering, or if you've ever wondered, why do we have Aguka? Why did somebody come up with this initiative? Why is it here? You've been answered by the Honorable Minister. Aguka was designed to strengthen entrepreneurship ecosystem. And you've also heard that in the years Aguka has been running, constraints have been identified and must be addressed in order for us to go further. And that is part of the reason we are here this morning, that all of us collectively will try to address those constraints and see how to go further. And as the minister said, far and fast, but we will be doing that together. Then, to sum it all up, Rwanda's youth are ready, and the model is working. Thank you for those remarks, ladies and gentlemen. It is now my pleasure to invite the UNDP Rwanda Resident Representative, Fatmata Loveta Sise, for her remarks.
Honorable Minister of Youth and Arts, Dr. Abdullah Butumetuishima, the one who makes you happy. I hope you know that. Nyakubawa, Honorable Minister State Minister of Youth and Arts, Murumuna Wanji, Sandrine. I know we have representative from the Minister of Public Services and Labor Ambassador. We also have Your Excellency, the head of European delegation in Rwanda, Belen. Belen is a sister. Senior government representatives who are here. We have colleagues from sister UN agencies. I'm very happy to see UNIDO, happy to see UNFPA, happy to see UNICEF here together in one force. Representatives from civil society organizations, the private sector, the media. Most importantly, there are youth in the room. I can feel the vibe in the room, and that is an exciting moment because nothing for the youth without the youth. So very happy to have you all. Muraho Mwiza, Moramutseneza, Mamahoro. Thank you. It is a great pleasure for UNDP to join you today for this important dialogue on the future of youth entrepreneurship and employment in Rwanda. Today's discussion is a particularly important moment for us. And this is because across Africa, the continent is experiencing the fastest youth population growth, which is over or about 532 million young people between the ages of 15 and 35. That is about half the population on the continent. And the choices we make today are very important in determining the factors whether we're going to see that huge bulge as an opportunity or as a threat on the continent. And I'm sure we want to see that as an opportunity for shared prosperity on the continent. But as I continue my remarks, allow me first of all to sincerely appreciate the government of Rwanda through the very hardworking ministers and able team at the Ministry of Youth and Arts, and also from the Ministry of Public Service and Labor for your leadership and strong partnership, your commitment and your belief in the youth of Rwanda. I would also like to take this moment to thank our very strong partner, the European Union, whose partnership and support have been instrumental in making Aguka a reality, and they've stood the course and continue to do the same. That is impressive. It's one thing to give resources. It's another for you to stand the journey. Each and every moment there is Aguka. And I think Aguka has become a household name for the European Union. Thank you very much. And all of this that we are doing, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, is completely aligned with NST2. Because NST2 lays emphasis on three things that are important today: job creation, private sector development, and youth entrepreneurship is central to national development here. Aguka was designed precisely for this vision in mind, supporting young entrepreneurs to do four primary things that are important: skills development, mentorship, access to finance, and market opportunities. Earlier on this morning, I had the opportunity to explain an analogy that I believe captures exactly what Aguka does. And if you picture yourself trying to scratch a match when the wind is blowing, each time you try the match, if the wind is heavy, if you don't protect that flame, if you don't protect the spark, it's not going to grow into a flame. And often what you do is you scratch the match, you have your hands around the spark, and then you make sure it flames. This is what Aguka is doing with youth. Youth already have the spark. They need people to help them protect that spark to grow into a flame. And by mentorship, by providing access to finance, providing market access, we are actually guarding the spark of youth to get into a flame, and we're going to see a lot of flame in Rwanda. And having done that as in partnership, we are really encouraged by the results that we see. Because between 2022 and 2025, around 2,000 Aguka-supported enterprises have created 128,000 jobs. That is big, as the Honorable Minister of State has mentioned. And of those jobs, 30,000 of them are decent jobs. But that is not all what these youth have done. We have seen them generate in total capital of about 34 billion Rwandan francs in income, and they have made profits about 10 billion Rwanda francs. As if that is not all, they are making significant contribution to national growth because they've contributed 2.25 billion to taxes. So these are not youth and enterprises in the informal sector. They are enterprises that are captured by the national system of accounts, and they concretely show the amount of taxes they are contributing to. These findings resonate strongly with Africa Youth Employment Outlook 2026, which highlights that while youth employment across Africa is growing, most young people remain in the informal sector and in the low productivity category. So we are saying we could have seen more than 2.25 billion Rwanda franc in taxes if we ensure that all of these youth that we support are moving from the informal sector to the formal sector. This is the difference between helping young people stay afloat and helping young people to sail. And we do not want to help young people to stay afloat. We really want them to sail. And one may provide temporary relief, but we want to open doors for stability, growth, and long-term opportunity. But beyond the numbers, allow me to recount the true story of one of the Aguka beneficiaries, Karen Mutunizwazi, a 23-year-old entrepreneur from Muhanga district and a founder of Nerika Soap Limited. After identifying the gap in the market for affordable soaps, she launched her company in 2024 and she won the Aguka Ideation Program, which gave her a grant of $3,000. This allowed her to invest in equipment and also to increase her production of soap from 50 bars of soap a month to 300 bars soap a month. Her business now generates about 300,000 Rwandan francs a month in profit, and she has created 4 jobs for 4 other youth. Yet, like many young entrepreneurs, Karen still faces challenges accessing finance that is needed for her to take her business to scale. Karen has the motivation, Karen has the innovation and the ambition to definitely do more than 300 bars of soap a month. But we need banking services to be able to open their doors to entrepreneurs like Karen. This reflects broader challenges highlighted by the Tracer study that we're going to hear about today, that first, access to affordable financing remains one of the most significant barriers faced by young entrepreneurs. Second, while enterprises are creating jobs, many still struggle to transition from informal or temporary work towards stable and decent jobs. And third, women and vulnerable groups continue to face additional barriers when trying to grow their businesses. We want to highlight these critical 3 challenges because we believe we are not here to discuss challenges, but as we explore opportunities, we want to address these very important challenges. So as we unlock the next phase of growth, it will require us to do stronger collaboration between government, development partners, financial institutions, and the private sector to expand youth-friendly financing and scale successful enterprises. As Rwanda continues to implement NST2, which aims to create 1.25 million productive jobs, when I look at our 128,000 jobs, we are just about 1%. But remember, that's only one project. If we come together and get this into a program, we will significantly make a big dent into the 5-year commitment of 1.25 million jobs. So today's dialogue is therefore not only about sharing evidence, but about mobilizing partnerships, policies, and investments that allow us to take all this important work to scale. And I think we in the room are probably the converted already. We need to take the message to the unconverted for them to believe. That's why when 3 pastors went fishing, and they sat in their fishing boat, and they all decided to let their guard down and say, this is the only moment we have. We don't have our congregation in front of us. It's just 3 of us. So at this time, let's talk about our deepest secrets that nobody has ever known. The first pastor says, I have a problem with gambling. Every time you see me sneak out of church, I go and I gamble. The second pastor says, my greatest problem is stealing. I even steal the church collection. And the third pastor was completely quiet. Everybody, the 2 of them says, no, you have to say something. You've heard about our secrets. We need to hear your secret. After they've persuaded him, he says, well, my problem is gossiping. I can't wait to leave this boat to tell your congregation that you gamble. But colleagues, there are positive gossips. Let's leave this room and gossip about Aguka in every corner of Rwanda. Let's leave this room and make the whole Rwanda hear about Aguka. At UNDP, we firmly believe that investing in youth is one of the most powerful engines of inclusive economic transformation. Young entrepreneurs are not only building businesses, but they are also creating jobs, they are strengthening communities, and shaping Rwanda's economic future. Let me conclude by reaffirming UNDP's strong commitment to continue working alongside the government of Rwanda, the European Union, and all partners that are here and beyond to ensure that Rwanda's young entrepreneurs have the opportunities, they have the tools, and they have the ecosystem for them to thrive. Together, we say Tirukumwe, we can turn evidence into scale, entrepreneurship into powerful driver of decent jobs, innovation, and inclusive growth in Rwanda. Murakoze cyane.
Dr. Fatmata, she always has stories. She'll have a scenario for every single thing. Thank you for that. Thank you for, turning us into the village gossip. But as you said, in a good way, we will do that graciously. As you heard from Fatmata, youth already have the spark. All they need is support. They need people to help them protect that spark. And you are the people. A lot of you in this room are the people that will help the youth protect the flame, not just the spark, the flame. And then Africa's Youth Employment Outlook report indicates while there are more youth in jobs, they are mainly in the informal or non-decent jobs. Government, development partners, finance institutions must all work together to cause a transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite the European Union Ambassador to Rwanda, Her Excellency Belen Calvo-Iara.
So, Honorable Minister of Youth and Arts, dear Dr. Abdallah, dear Minister of State for Youth and Arts, dear Sandrine, dear Fatimata, resident coordinator for the UNDP here in Rwanda, sorry for the title, dear colleagues from UNFPI, UNICEF, all partners to this great Aguka initiative, BPN here present, but all of those who have contributed in this journey to making Aguka what Aguka is today, and to the youth in the room, Mwaramutse. So it really is a great pleasure to be here today for this high-level dialogue on the results of Aguka Trace study and the lessons it offers for strengthening youth entrepreneurship in Rwanda. The European Union is very proud to accompany the journey of the National Strategy for Transformation and the great aspirations for youth and for job creation in Rwanda. And we cannot do this better than through the Aguka program. Aguka is the shining example of partnership in action, of the power of togetherness. of getting together the government of Rwanda, UNDP, and a number of partners that has made this possible. Aguka is also a shining example of what we can deliver when we work with a high level of ambition and a sense of urgency. We were talking with Minister Abdallah before we entered the room on this journey. When we started 3 years ago, the figure of creating 100,000 jobs was scary. It was not something we thought we could achieve. And it's great to see that with that high level of ambition, we've gone beyond. So together, since 2022, we've worked to support young people in transforming ideas into enterprises. And we've worked together in bringing the youth forward. So today, the finding of this study show that those ambitions are bearing fruits. And we're going to work from evidence. So let me give you some of the evidence that this joint work has come up with. So more than 160,000 jobs have been created. So supported businesses generated over 34 billion in Rwandan francs in income. So over 10 billion Rwandan francs in net profits and over 2.25 billion in tax revenues. So for every 1 million Rwandan franc that it was invested, the program generated around 54 million in business income. So 15.8 million in net profit and 3.6 in tax revenues. So this is a great contribution to the formalization of the economy and to the economy growth in the country. So 41% of the beneficiaries accessed finance with repayment rates above 90%. And I want to stop here because this shows that when young people are trusted, they deliver. 45% of the beneficiaries are women, and their enterprises show higher survival rates. Again, this proves that women entrepreneurship is not just about inclusion. This is about performance. And from this evidence, we now want to scale up. Each number represents a young Rwanda whose close initiatives over uncertainty, who chooses initiative over uncertainty, who builds business that employ neighbors, that support families, and that strengthens local value chains. Nearly 90% of supported enterprises report positive spillover effects in their communities, particularly in sectors such as retail, transport, food services, and constructions. So this shows that entrepreneurship is not only an individual opportunity, but is a catalyst for local economic ecosystem and community-level growth. So we now want to scale up. And to scale up, we need to understand, and this is what we will be doing here today, we need to understand what the challenges are. And the study reminds us that progress brings new challenges. Many micro-entrepreneurs still struggle to access capital. They struggle to move from informal to formal operation or to scale up beyond subsistence. And this is where the next generation of programs, and that's why we're here today, where the next generation of programs must focus to help enterprises to graduate to higher levels of productivity, of sustainability, to create further jobs, to have access to finance, and to be able to expand like Aguka stands for. So the findings of the roadmap are not just a snapshot. They provide us a roadmap. They tell us what works, what to improve, and how to deepen the impact. So we will come up here today with a roadmap going forward. So let me conclude with just 3 thoughts. First is that the Aguka experience shows that youth entrepreneurship works when the right ecosystem and support is in place. And this is what, together, collectively, under your leadership, in Moya, we've been working on providing that ecosystem to youth. This is part of a number of initiatives that the government has put forward, together with Hunger Hubs, but together with Youth Connect that UNDP has been leading in the past years. This all provides the space and the ecosystem to shine and to provide the space for youth to engage. Second is that the scaling this impact requires a closer coordination between the finance, the skills, the development, and enterprise support systems. And we are here together to work in all these pillars of this ecosystem. And third, that today's dialogue is not only about reviewing results, but is about reflecting together on the roadmap going forward. So we are very proud to stand here in support to the government of Rwanda's effort, working closely with UNDP, working closely with a number of you here present. I see BPN, but I know many of you have been working proactively in this initiative, and we stand ready to continue this journey, to empower its young entrepreneurs, to continue creating decent jobs and strengthening the private sector. So let us ensure that every promising enterprise has the opportunity to grow, and every young entrepreneur has the opportunity to succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Belen, the European Union Ambassador. And as the Ambassador has said, Aguka is a shining example of what we can deliver when we work with a high level of urgency. When young people are trusted, they deliver. Then positive spillover effects have been reported among those that have been given the push, been given the boost. The room is a bit dull. Can we get on our feet, please? Where are we looking like we are looking? That's what I want. Let's all be upstanding. Flora, I see you. Nadine, I see you. I said all. Everyone in the room. Let's do a bit of stretching. Yeah, a bit of stretching. Huh? And then we've had three different speakers, three amazing speakers. We had Honorable Sandrine, we had Dr. Fatmata, we had Her Excellency Belen. I want you to turn to the person on your right and give them three things that you remember from their speeches. I was taking notes, so I remember. Please turn to the person on your right. Tell them what you remember from those speeches. If the person on your right does not remember anything, please report them to me. You must have someone on your right, Nana. If you don't have someone on your right, grab someone. Yeah? Is there somebody who didn't hear anything? Report them. That's the bad student. That's the one who's going to take us back. Diane, did Nicola have something to say? Very good. Dedene, did the person on your right have something to say? They picked something from the speeches? The lady in maroon, she did? Ah, you see? Those who are sitting, who gave you permission to sit? The ones at the back? Huh? Okay, let us all stand. Those who are seated. If you remain sitting, we will decide to be here the whole day. So some of us stand and while others sit. All right, thank you. Let's go back to our seats, resume our seats, and please. Thank you, that was good. I hope you're now feeling much better, yeah? A bit loose. Hey, those ones, the PS has decided they will go and go. That is the best table. The one with Alice and the PS. All right, let's please have our attention focused on the screen for a short video that we prepared for you.
Ni amahirwe akomeye ku rubyiruko. Ntabwo nzi ko hari ahantu urubyiruko rushobora kujya abantu bahangayikishijwe n'iterambere ryabo. Seeing this opportunity really means there's
possibilities for young people, making a real change in their communities.
Noneho iyo ntekereza rero ubuzima nari mbayemo bwa gifundi, uyu munsi nkaba numva ndi engineer, mba numva ari ikintu kidasanzwe.
Byamaye kwaguka mu bitekerezo.
I knew that if any other person can do this, then why not me too?
From the outset, UNDP supported Aguka to ensure the program was evidence-based, scalable, and aligned with Rwanda's national priorities under NST2, Vision 2050, and the Sustainable Development Goals. The program is already delivering meaningful results.
nagiye muri Aguka nta kintu mfite uretse idea no kuba wenda nari mbizi kubikoraho nabwo nari mbifiteho ubumenyi bukeya. Ibintu cya mbere baduhaye nanakunze nishimiye ni mentorship.
Bagiye batugira inama zitandukanye zo gutekereza byagutse, tukareba igikenewe muri societe yawo turi. Nibwo nahise ndangura imifuka ndayizana, nko mu kwezi kumwe byibuze nari nangiye kubona impinduka, kuko nazanye bare ebyiri y'imifuka y'amakara n'imifuka ijyamo imyaka. Nko mu byumweru bibiri yari ishize ngiye kuzana iyindi.
Muri Connect nabonye ko burya urubyiruko ari igihe tuzi ko dukeneye amafaranga, wenda kariyo dukeneye imbere y'ibindi. Ariko ngiye kinavanye muri Connect cyari gikubye inshuro nyinshi amafaranga navanye muri Connect.
Mbere ya Youth Connect kadufite abana 13 cyangwa 11 gutyo. Nyuma yo kubona ya nkunga ya Youth Connect twaraguye ibikorwa, abantu baratwizera, dushaka indi nzu kugeza aho uyu munsi dufite 33.
Kariyo yo gushushanya ni ikintu cyari gisa nkaho cyari kiri inyuma, abantu benshi batayakitaho cyase bagiteza imbere. Kubona rero Youth Connect yari yatanze amahirwe yuko igiye kuzamura aba artist nabonye yari amahirwe akomeye cyane.
Having said a lot of achievements with Aguka, we have already created, together with the partners, more than 128,000 jobs. Money that has been invested in young people has yielded 34 billion Rwandan francs. My message to the partners is to thank them. What we have been investing in Aguka in the last 3 years, but also what we have been doing as a government in the last 10 years of youth policy, we want to do more. And we want more partners, more investment, more innovations in what we can do for the youth. So the call is to thank them, but also to mobilize more resources for the youth development agenda.
So in everything we do and in everything we will continue doing in the country, we will be supporting youth and we will be supporting job creation as a great silver line of activities. So we will keep in mind the lessons learned in the Aguka project, in the togetherness that we built together with the Ministry of Youth and with UNDP, and we will continue learning going forward with the youth at the center and with the job creation at the center of an inclusive growth in Rwanda.
Beautiful. A few numbers have been thrown here and there. Thank you. You've had it, 128,000 jobs created, and the need for more resources. You're asking yourself, where is this coming from? Where? How did they know that we need more resources? How did they even establish the number? So we have a tracer study that was done, and that study will show us what has been done, what needs to be done, what has changed, what needs to be changed, what needs to be scaled. Ladies and gentlemen, to present the findings of the Aguka Tracer Study, I would love to invite on stage Gilbert, SPIU head at Moya, and Nicolas Schmitz, program analyst at UNDP Rwanda. Please. The floor is yours, Gilbert and Nicolas.
Yeah. Yakuba, honorable ministers, Your Excellency, Ambassador of the European Union, dear UNDP Resident Representative, all partners, all protocol observed. My name is Nicolas Schmitz. I'm program analyst at UNDP, and I'm very pleased today to present the outcome of the Aguka Tracer study, jointly with my colleague Gilbert from the Ministry of Youth and Arts. So to reflect Aguka's very productive partnerships, today we'll be having a joint presentation, UNDP and the Ministry of Youth. Before starting, we wish to inform you that if you wish to have access to the full report, my colleagues are currently handing some cards with a QR code. As we are moving with our time and trying to be paperless, you may have access to the report online. So, so maybe I'll start first with, allow me to start with defining what is a tracer study. For some colleagues who might not know. So a tracer study is a follow-up evaluation that tracks beneficiaries over time to assess the outcome and impact of our interventions. So in our case, it's about measuring what has been the result and the impact of the Aguka in terms of employment, but also income, livelihood, profit. So what is it for? It's about building, and it's been mentioned in the opening remarks, it's about building strong evidence that help us to guide future policies, but also future interventions. So for our Aguka Tracer study, and please may I ask our colleagues, yes, thank you. So for our Aguka Tracer study, it's about collecting a lot of data from 2,000 of our Aguka entrepreneurs. Those entrepreneurs were supported by different interventions of Aguka between 2022 and 2025. So as I mentioned, it's really about trying to measure the impact and building evidence that will guide future policies and investment in youth empowerment program. The methodology that was taken for the tracer study is actually a combined methodology of both collecting qualitative and quantitative data. So the qualitative data was mostly collected through focus group discussion and key informant interviews. So what is the profile of those 2,000 entrepreneurs? So as mentioned in the opening remarks, Aguka's spirit is about supporting young entrepreneurs through the full cycle of business development. We're really trying to be relevant to address specific challenge that entrepreneurs face through the full journey of entrepreneurship. So we cover from awareness raising, ideation, incubation, post-incubation. So really ensuring that we accompany you through your full journey of business development. So the 2,000 entrepreneurs actually cover many interventions that are under the Aguka umbrella, from the ideation component with our TVET Youth Challenge, implemented with the IPRCs, the bootcamp for refugees, implemented with Ministry of Disaster Refugee Management, the Tony Elumelu Foundation Ideation Program that is about supporting young entrepreneurs to transform their business idea into a businesses, to the road maintenance program, those the ideation level, to the pre-incubation component through the entrepreneurs we support through the Art Rwanda Buhanzi, implemented with the Imbuto Foundation, specific intervention that we implement to support vulnerable youth, including women and youth with disability, to the Youth Connect Bootcamp that I'm sure you're all familiar with. And then it goes all the way to the post-incubation interventions that are implemented also with different partners, including Norscan, BPN, that really is about helping our youth enterprise that are most mature level through coaching and mentorship. So as you've seen, it really covers different interventions at different stage of business development. So to go more deep into the profile of the 2,000 entrepreneurs, out of the 2,000 entrepreneurs that were surveyed through the tracer study, we were able to collect data for 1,903 of them. The remaining 97 were entrepreneurs who either decided to quit entrepreneurship or they left the country. Some are refugees who returned home. So we were able to collect data from 1,903 entrepreneurs. Out of those 1,903, we had 55% of them were actually male, and 45% being female. We also had, for the purpose of inclusivity, we also had 84 of them were youth living with disability, sorry, youth with disability, which represent 4.4%, and we had 24 refugees. So before, now I'll have the pleasure to give the floor to my colleague Gilbert, who's going to go through to the detailed outcome and result of the tracer study. And I will come back for the conclusion.
Thank you, Nicola. Honorable Ministers, Your Excellence, Head of EU Delegation, UNDP, DRR, Alala, UNDP, UN Agencies Representative, partners, ladies and gentlemen, over a few minutes, I'm going to take you through the findings of Aguka tracer study, tracks from 2022 to 2025. Okay, thank you. As you see, 31% of Aguka business are formal via national average of 11%. The main barrier for formality are linked to limited access to finance, fear of tax exposure, low margin, gender bias. As you know, also young people are facing the barrier about the access to finance. Here, the tracer study found that 86% of beneficiaries of Aguka accessed to bank services, while 13% do not have bank accounts, and 17% applied for loan, while 82% did not apply for loan. Among those who applied for loan, 75% applied for short and medium-term loan, while 22% applied for long-term loans. Next. To continue with access to finance, there is key challenges, including limited financial literacy, high business informality, weak bank readiness, collateral requirement too high, high interest rate, limited guarantee mechanism, and limited diversification of credit sources, and also additional barrier to vulnerable youth. Regarding the income during that period of tracer study from 2022 to 2025, the tracer study found that 4 billions were generated as revenue, while 10 billions are generated as net profit, while 2 billions are paid as taxes. This shows how the sector is profitable. For the employment, the tracer study shows that the job created in total is 128,000, where 33% are female and 67% are business led by men. Among those jobs created, 23% are decent, while 77% are related to casual work, informal activities, and seasonal jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be busy anyhow, but this is a part of takeaway from the tracer study, where $1 invested generated a revenue of $46, and $1 invested generated $14 as a net profit, and $100 invested generated created 7 jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's invest in youth-led enterprises. The profitability and the return on investment are assured. Thank you.
So I guess you all find out there's one information that we wish you to take home today is that Aguka has demonstrated a high return on investment, and not only in terms of job creation, but also economic activities that result and the benefits, the spillover benefits for the communities. We just like to end with the conclusion of the Tracer study. One is, as you see, Aguka is definitely driving enterprise growth and formalization. We've seen a higher level of formalization among the Aguka entrepreneurs. The second is that the SMEs, the young entrepreneurs, they also have a strong economic contribution, not only directly, but also indirectly through the spillover effects within the communities. The third one, and we believe the most important, is that Aguka show a very strong return on investment. $1 invested, as you've seen, has significant return, both for the communities, but also the country in terms of taxation, profit, revenues overall. The fourth conclusion is that, as I said, there's also a strong community level impact. And 90% of the beneficiaries from the Tracer show that there were positive impact for the communities. So the business activity also helps other business activities within their village. The fifth one is that you've seen youth enterprise, they create jobs, which is a great news. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the majority of those jobs are still casual and seasonal worker. You've seen more than 70%. And also, the majority of those jobs are unfortunately accessed mainly for men, which comes to the 6th recommendation that you've seen there's still significant gender and inclusivity gap disparities, not only in terms of job creation, but also access to finance, where we see that women disproportionately face more challenges than men, but also youth with disability and other refugees who tend to also to be excluded from the formal business and from the accessing finances. And overall, we've seen that Aguka with Spirit is really about an integrated model that combines both access to finance, capacity building, connection to market, access to investors. It shows a way greater results when we have this integrated model that also include mentorship and coaching. So as recommendation, we would like you to go home today with 4 recommendations of the study. One is, as you've seen, when it comes to financial literacy, we still have some challenges where we have a vast majority of youth who will not even try to access the loans. So we really see that there is still a need to invest more in building the financial literacy of our young entrepreneurs, as well as coaching. We see challenges when it comes to financial management, bookkeeping, as well as the procedures to access finance. It also results in an issue when it comes to facilitate the access to finance. You've seen that many of our young entrepreneurs are still excluded from the traditional financial system, which means that we need in the future to develop tailored programs to really address those gaps and to help our youth, women, and youth with disability to be able to access a customized, personalized product so that they are not longer excluded from the access to finance. The third one is about we need to continue strengthening the business development services as well as the market linkages. And lastly, we've seen that there is an issue when it comes to inclusivity, especially for gender, women, and youth with disability, where we see a higher level of informality among those groups and additional barriers, including stigma and towards women accessing finance. We've seen it lower job creation targeting women. So we need also to help to design specific interventions so that we then address those inclusivity challenges. So we really thank you for your attention, and we look forward to the discussion and your participation. Please to hand the mic to our great MC.
Let's appreciate Nikolai and Gilbert. Well done. That was a beautiful presentation. At this juncture, I would love to recognize the presence of Minister Mifotra, who walked in while the presentation was going on. We're pleased to have you here, Honorable Christine Ngulichinga. Soon the moon will be sighted, and she'll give us 3 more days, hence the nickname Minister of Enjoyment. It always happens. So from that presentation, that was an amazing presentation, and a few things stood out for me. I'm sure there's some that stood out for you as well. Now, for me, it's very clear from that presentation that Aguka has gone way past the trial stage. Aguka is delivering. You've seen the numbers. More than 128,000 jobs have been created. It is also very clear from the findings that the jobs are coming. But the next challenge is the quality of these jobs. We need more stable and productive jobs. My father is a welder. Now, before my father became a welder, he was in a decent job. Then he loses the decent job and had to find a non-decent job. He started a welding company, a welding workshop. Back then, we called it a workshop. It was a very small outfit, just being run at home. And let me tell you, that man has struggled. Until today, he's struggling to scale. I wish he had Aguka back then. I wish he had access to Aguka now, but he's outgrown it, so he can't. But I share that because I know if there is a young man somewhere, whether he's interested in welding or a young lady interested in chili, the business of chili or something else, they will need somebody to give them the hope that this will be something stable, that the future is bright. Because sometimes people start initiatives and ideas and they are left to just remain there. But we will take them forward. Another thing that stood out was the investment. I took a picture when that was displayed. $1 invested generates 46 USD. $1 invested, 14 USD net profit generated. And then 100 USD invested will create 7 jobs. That goes to show that every franc invested in Aguka is working. You put it there, you're not spending it, you're investing it, and you will see a return. Now, ladies and gentlemen, behind every number we've seen on that screen, there's a real story. There's a human story and proof that this model works. We are honored this morning to have with us some entrepreneurs in the room, and I would love us to hear from them. Oh, it's afternoon already. Well, this afternoon, we have Shakila of Shaki Limited. Where is Shakila? I would love to invite her on stage. Shaki will share the story behind Shaki Limited. Let's appreciate her. And as Shaki comes on stage, please don't forget to scan that blue card so that you have access to the full report.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Mwiriwe neza. Amazina yanjye nitwa Uwineza Shakila. Ngiye kuba sharinga story yanjye mu Kinyarwanda. Amazina yanjye nitwa Uwineza Shakila, nkaba mpagarariye ikigo cya Shaki Limited. Nishimiye kubana namwe, ndashaka kubasangiza urugendo rwanjye nka Shaki aho naturutse naho ngeze kano kanya. Shaki Limited iko igitekerezo cyaje kuva kera nakuze mfite inzozi zo kuzaba umuntu ukomeye. Niga muri segonderi naje gutekereza gukora ibintu bitandukanye kuko akenshi nagiraga courage ku buryo no muri vacances nakundaga kujya gushaka ibiraka kugira ngo ndebe ko nabona amafaranga. Ibyo rero byanteraga courage nkumva ko ngomba kuzagira ikintu cyanjye bwite nazakora, kugeza ubwo naje kugira amahirwe makeya nkiri muri segonderi mu wa gatanu, nza kugira ikibazo cyo gutwita imburagihe, mbyara nkiri mutoya ntararangiza amashuri yanjye. Ariko nkuko nahoraga mbwira ababyeyi banjye mbabwira ko ngomba kuzaba umuntu ukomeye, nakomeje kuvuga ati inzozi zanjye byange bikunde ngomba kuzazigeraho. nakomeje gushyira umuhate cyane mu gukora, ndavuga nti nubwo ntwite ariko nimbyara ngomba kuzakomeza imihigo n'imigambi nka proving ababyeyi banjye yuko nubwo iki kibazo cyambayeho ariko ntazakomeza gukomeza ndaho ngaho, ngomba kuzabereka ko nshoboye kandi inzozi nahoranye ngomba kuzazigeraho. Ni urugendo rutari rworoshye kuko igishoro ntago ari ikintu cyari cyoroshye. Narakomeje nkora ibiraka nkimara kubyara, mbivanga no kujya ku ishuri byose n'iki, nibwo naje kubona amafaranga makeya ageze ku 200,000, ntangira gukora business yanjye yo gukora urusenda. Icyo gihe nyitangira najyaga nkunda kwitabira gahunda z'urubyiruko mu mudugudu ntuyemo, nibwo naje guhura n'umwe mu bantu twari kumwe cyangwa se n'umwe mu rubyiruko, arambwira ati rero hari gahunda ya Youth Connect kandi ufite umushinga mwiza, uramutse ugiye kwa applyinga ndabizi neza yuko bazagufata. Mu by'ukuri njya gutangira ntago numvaga ko hari umuntu waza ngo agiye kuguhereza amafaranga, numvaga ibintu ari kumbwira ari nk'inzozi, ibyo bintu bitabaho. Ndavuga ati ariko ntacyo, reka nzapfe kugerageza ko njye ndi umuntu ukunda kugerageza. Nuko rero nasabye uwo mwana ndamubwira noneho igihe nikigera link igasohoka hanze muzambwire na applying. Rero igihe cyarageze link irasohoka, nda applyinga, ngira amahirwe tsindira umwanya wa mbere muri women's category, tsindira 5,000,000. Ayo mafaranga yaramfashije cyane kuko nkitangira gukora nari mfite amasoko. Hari ukuntu iyo umuntu agitangira gukora, wenda nko ku entrepreneur bagenzi banjye bari hano barabizi, uba ufite inyota yo kubona amasoko. Wabona iri rimwe ukavuga uti nincuruza neza hari abakama inyungu, nzayashyiramo kugira ngo mbashe noneho no kwaguka. Nuko nabigenje, nabonye isoko rimwe ryo muri Simba supermarket, ntago nari ndihagije, nuvuga ngo bantumaga ibintu nkazana ibintu bike ariko nkabizeza ko ibindi biri hafi kuboneka kugira ngo ndindire. Nkimara kubona rero icyo gishoro nibwo navuga ko Shaki Limited neza yahise itangira. Amafaranga yose nahise nyashora muri production, ndabanza nkora ibintu byinshi, ntangira no kugenda nshaka amasoko ahantu henshi hagiye hatandukanye. Shaki Limited itangira kuzamuka kugeza aho muri 2025 nabwo naje kugira andi mahirwe, tsindira imari agribusiness challenge, nabwo bampereza 10,000,000 yose. Ayo mafaranga nkuko bayampaye nayakoresheje neza, nkomeza kuzamuka. Aka kanya Shaki Limited ikaba imaze kugera muri supermarket zirenga 70 muri Kigali, no mu Rwanda hose, ndetse kandi tukaba dukunze no kwitabira ama expo yo hanze. Hari ama MOU n'ama contract twagiye dusinya ku buryo vuba muri uyu mwaka dutangira kuba twakora export. Ikindi kandi muri urwo rugendo rwose ayo mafaranga yamfashije kubona icyangombwa cy'ubuziranenge, nkaba mfite SMAC duharwa na Rwanda Standard Board, ndetse twabonye na premise license. Ubu ngubu ibicuruzwa byacu biri hanze rwose. Mwese mbahaye ikaze ko mwaza mugatestinga ku rusenda rwiza rukorerwa hano iwacu. Ubu Shaki Limited ahantu igeze mfite abakozi 15 bahoraho n'abandi banyakabyizi dukoresha bitewe nuko umusaruro wabonetse. Ikintu cya mbere numva navuga ni ugushimira cyane opportunity leta yacu iduha, cyane cyane aya mahirwe Aguka icisha mu rubyiruko, Youth Connect, tukabasha kuba twakwerekana ibyo dufite. Byari bigoye ko twagerageza ariko bikanga bigakunda. Ndabashimira cyane kandi mbikuye ku mutima. Ikintu nabwira bagenzi banjye, ndabashishikariza yuko twakomeza gukunda umurimo kandi tugakomeza gushishikariza na bagenzi bacu, haba aho dutuye, haba mu turere dutuyemo hose, tukabasha gukomeza gushyigikira igihugu cyacu mu iterambere. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane. Shakila of Shaki Limited. I will try my best to translate Mumbabarire, if it will not be the best, you will bear with me. At the age of around 17, 18, Shakila got pregnant. She was in school. She got pregnant, got a bit distracted, but she bounced back. When that small issue happened, she did not give up, but she was also thankful that her parents did not give up. She went back to school, completed her secondary school. But during her vacation, whenever there were holidays during school, she would go out looking for viraka, so a job here and there to make money. So when she was done with secondary school, she wanted to continue making money. You know, when you get used to money, you want to continue making money. So she started looking for ideas and landed on one that was value addition on chili. There was a lot of chili being grown. She wanted to add value to that. And so she had little savings, 200,000, that she invested in starting off Neza chili, registered it and did everything that she did. Of course, the registration did not come that early. Later on in her story, she talks about participating in Youth Connect. She heard about Youth Connect through a friend of hers who told her, you have something good going on. Why don't you apply for Youth Connect? Because they have opportunities for young people. They've got some money for young people. She applied, although hesitantly, because like some people do assume when you have these competitions, the winner is always known. But she went in, did not know anyone. She was not known. She ended up winning 5 million. This now helped her with the registration process and the expansion of her business. Because of that background, she went on to apply for other competitions. There's another time when she applied and got 10 million from Imali. And then she credits the training from Aguka, because Aguka takes the entrepreneurs through different sessions, and one of them is a boot camp. She says through the boot camp, she learned a lot, and she credits Aguka through the boot camp for equipping her for what lay ahead. It also gave her confidence to go for other competitions and to sell her business and to scale. Did I forget something? Well done, eh? Thank you. I appreciate that. I really had to try. And I'm glad that Shakila was not a very fast speaker. The pace was good. All right. I now would love to invite on stage Dieudonné. He also has an amazing story. Let's get to hear it. Dieudonné, the stage is yours.
Thank you for everyone. Mwaramutse, muraho. Murakoze, amazina yanjye nitwa Dieudonné Iradukunda. Nifuje kubabwira story yanjye mu Kinyarwanda nkuko mugenzi wanjye amaze kubibabwira kugira ngo tukomeze turyoherwe n'ikiganiro. Amazina nitwa Dieudonné nkuko nabibabwiye, nkaba ndi umuyobozi wa company yitwa Youth Proud Limited. Ni company ikora ibikoresho gakondo nyafrika bikozwe mu giti. Ntago bitangaje ariko biranatangaje. Harimo imyuko abantu basanzwe bakoresha mu ngo, harimo amasahane, harimo amasorori. We focus on everything we used on dining table, wooden materials, wooden utensils. Mu byukuri nkikimara kurangiza amashuri mfite bachelor's degree in art and design. Natekerezaga ko nshobora kuba umuyobozi w'ikigo runaka gikomeye, nashoboraga kuba umukozi, ariko numvaga nyine nshobora kuba umukozi dayeri. Hanyuma nkikimara kurangiza amashuri nageze kuri tere nsanga ibyo nibwira ntibishoboka. Sanga aho tujya kwa applyinga akazi ntibikunda. Sanga hose barakokibye. Hanyuma rero icyari gisigaye kwari ukishakamo ibisubizo. Hanyuma nakuraga mu masomo yanjye nigaga, nakundaga entrepreneurship. Nakundaga kuba nabarwiyemeza mirimo nkagira ikintu nkora. Hanyuma kubwa struggle nahuye nazo reka nzibabwire. Namaze kurangiza neza amashuri hanyuma mbona kubona akazi ntibishoboka cyangwa se gukorera abantu ntibishoboka, ntekereza noneho kwikorera. Mbura amafaranga. Hanyuma rero ntekereza kugira ngo noneho mbashe kugera ku mafaranga ndabigenzana. Ndavuga nti noneho reka nshakishe uburyo bushoboka bwose, ndebe ko nabona n'akazi na gatoya cyane. Uwo ndi butacingeho akanyemerera akazi yampemba 30 ndayafata, target nuko mbona igishoro. Hanyuma naje kugirirwa amahirwe mbona akazi muri supermarket iri mu karere ka Huye mu majyepfo, bayita Huye Center Market. Ubu nakoze ndi manager, ariko manager wahembwaga 45,000. Nkora amezi atandatu, mpembwa 45,000, ndasevinga. Target yanjye ngomba kuba entrepreneur. Hanyuma amezi atandatu ashize, nabonye muri saving yanjye mfite 1000 bigera kuri 500. Nanga rero noneho kabaye. Subira mu rugo, mbwira ababyeyi ko ngomba kujya gushaka business yo gukora. Ntangira gukora research ya business ngomba gukora. Ayo mafaranga narayabonye, ariko ntazi icyo nzakora. Ntangira gusura ahantu hamwe na hamwe. Nababwiye ko nize art and design. Ntangira gusura amaguriro atandukanye acuruza ibintu gakondo. Hanyuma nza kwegera abakiriya bamwe twahure muri Musée National y'u Rwanda, ahantu bacururize haba bafite aka mini shop karimo ibikoresho gakondo. Tugana n'abakiriya bamwe, bambwira ko hari ibintu bitatu batari kubona. Icya mbere kwari kutabona igikoresho kizima gifite ubudasa, kiri polished well, gisenye neza, gikoze mu giti. Icya kabiri kwari kuba bakoresha commande ntizibagereho kare. Icya gatatu kwari uko bashaka ko nubikora ntibaze kubitwara iwawe, ahubwo ubibashire aho bari. Ibyo bintu bitatu ndavuga ataha mfite 500 noneho kandi nize ati nize gukorakora, mu yandi magambo ngomba kujya gushaka ikintu cyo gukora. Rero mu gitekerezo cya mbere nabashije gukora, nakoze imyuko igera kuri 300. Imyuko igeze kuri 300 nta bakozi nari mfite. Kubw'amahirwe nari narashatse mfite umugore, uwo yari umukozi kabuhariwe. Kubw'andi mahirwe ndavuga ati muri amafaranga 200,000 ngiye gutangiza, kuko 300 yo nayakoresheje muri mu byo nkenera buri munsi byo mu rugo, natangije 200, ndashakamo umukozi usanzwe ubizi neza abikore. Hanyuma twatangiye turi abakozi 3, dukora iyo myuko 300. Noneho nshakisha uburyo bwo kubona isoko. Ntekerereza umuntu wize ufite bachelor's degree, ngiye kwikorera imyuko, nyizanye Kigali, nta handi hantu ho kwishakira isoko. Narayikoreye, narayifashe ndayijyana, kuko workshop yanjye ari mu rugo, my workshop is at home. Ndafata baggage yanjye ndayikorera, nyijyana kuri gare, mfata public transport nza Kigali. Nari mfite umushuti wanjye ukorera muri Kigali, uba muri Kigali, ndamubaza nti wamfasha nkagera ahantu bacuruza ibyombo ko ariho nshobora kubona abakiriya banjye. Kubw'amahirwe aranyemerera, aranzana, tuza hano mu mujyi aho bita Mateus. Ndagenda noneho ntura imyuko yanjye, bama akantu gatoya. Kubwa Jackie nari namusabye ngo aze kumfasha anshyirire ka background k'ifoto imwe na depoje utwuko twanjye natuzanye mu mujyi ahantu. Hanyuma noneho ngenda ninjira mu mashop, ngenda mbaza nimba bamfatira ku myuko. Abambere bakambwira ngo nta myuko dukeneye, abakabiri nta myuko dukeneye, uwa gatatu akanyemerera kamisoko, agafata utuntu 20 najyanye imyuko 300, afata 20, ahandi fata 20, ahandi 10. Ngize Imana ya myuko 300 irarangira. Mbaza ngo byagenze bite? Nagiye mfata contact zabo, nanjye nkabasigira izanjye. Maze gutaha nagiye kumva numva calls arimo mpamagara, imyuko yashize tuzanira indi. Ubu mu mujyi wa Kigali ni Messier imyuko, ni Dieudonné imyuko, niko nitwa. Hanyuma twatangije 200,000 nkuko nababwiye, turacuruza, tugera ku gicuruzo turnover y'umwaka tugera kuri 2,200,000 mu mwaka wa 2023. Hanyuma 2024 tubona calls ihamagarira urubyiruko kuza muri competition ya Youth Connect Award, aho bahamagariraga urubyiruko ko bagomba kuzuza form bakaza muri competition. Nanjye nabonye ko ariyo mahirwe yanjye, shakisha uburyo ngomba kubona nanjye nkitabira amarushanwa, nkareba ko hari ikivamo. Icya mbere nari maze kubona isoko rinini, ntabasha kurihaza n'abampamagara, ntashobora kugira ikintu mbasubiza. Ubwo rero icyari gikurikiyeho kwari ukugira ngo mbashe kubona amafaranga yo kuinvestiza. Hanyuma ku bw'amahirwe narasabye ndemererwa muri Youth Connect, icyo bita Art Connect Award. Hanyuma ngeze muri competition, igitangaje ya myuko iza gufata umwanya wa mbere ku rwego rw'intara bamemba 1 miliyoni. Ubwo ntibaye mwabimereye amashyi. Hanyuma ubwo amafaranga atangiye kuza, ndakomeza muri competition ku rwego rw'igihugu, nabwo ndatsinda ku rwego rw'igihugu, mbona 5 miliyoni zibaye 6. Nabyo ndumva ari byo kwishimira, mu bimpera amashyi. Hanyuma izo 5 miliyoni zamfashije kugira ikintu nkora gikomeye aricyo muri buze kubona hariya hanze. Natangiriye ku myuko, ariko abakiriya bakajya bambaza ati wadukora n'isahani, wadukora n'igikombe, wadukorera n'utundi tuntu dutandukanye, ariko nkabura imashini zo kubikora. Ayo mafaranga naragiye ngura imashini, tuva ku bakozi 3 jye na madamu n'umukozi umwe tugera ku bakozi 20. Uno munsi turi ku bakozi 20. Twavuye ku gishoro cy'ibihumbi 200, ubu dufite turnover ya 25 ku mwaka. Twavuye ku bakiriya customers, twari dufite abakiriya 101, uno munsi dufite abakiriya 154 mu gihugu cyose. Uno munsi ntekereza ko birandenze, ari hanze abaza kudusura muraza kureba stand yanjye imeze neza. Ibyo byose nta kindi tubikesha, turabikesha Aguka, turabikesha abafatanyabikorwa batera inkunga Youth Connect Award. Ari no mpamvu twifuza ko nka bagenzi banjye bicaye hano n'aba CEOs, ariko kuba ari aba CEOs barabikesha the partners of Youth and Arts, the Ministry of Youth and Arts. Ni ukuvuga ngo turifuza ko ndangiza, twifuza ko abafatanyabikorwa bakomeza umurongo bari barimo, bagakomeza bagatera inkunga cyangwa bagakomeza partnership with Ministry of Youth and Arts. This will show you the bright CEOs in the future here in Rwanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jodene. Can you just place that picture up again for a second? I know it came up. I don't know if Jodene saw it up there. Yes. Jodene, your photo is up there. You asked us to put it and we did. That is him. After he had moved around shops trying to sell them the stuff that he came with from Huye to Kigali, failed to find a shop. Eventually he found a place where he could just spread them on the ground and people came in to buy. So Jodene's story starts in Huye. That's where he was born and raised, and that's where he studied, and that is actually where he is currently based with his wife, where they run their business, Youth Proud Limited. He started off, well, he didn't start off as an entrepreneur, not right there. But after school, after graduating from the university with his degree, his bachelor's degree in art and design. Yes, in art and design. He tried to look for a job in that field, but failed to find a job. He kept trying and failed each time. And then finally, he decided he would be an entrepreneur. For a few months, he got a job, around 5 months, working for someone in Huye. He got a job, saved some money, and got that money. He knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur, but did not know what he wanted to invest in. He did not have an idea of what kind of business he wanted to do. And so he sat down and tried to get money from friends and family. He didn't get that. With a little saving he got from the job, he decided to go back to his art and design field. And that's how he ended up making beautiful kitchen utensils using wood. When you go outside the room, among the many exhibitors, you'll find Dieudonné's stand. Please check it out. And you're going to visit that the exhibition area. Please do. Dieudonné is there, and Shaki, and a lot of other entrepreneurs who've put their stuff out there. One day, Dieudonné took a bus from Huye to Kigali, carrying 300 pieces. He wanted to sell these 300 pieces. It was a struggle to sell them, but eventually he managed to get contacts. So those shops that he was going to and not being able to leave the entire supply, there were a few people that bought few pieces, and they exchanged contacts. From those contacts, he got more business. He started off with 11 clients. Today he has 154 clients. He started off with his wife. Today they have 20. Did you say 20, Dieudonné? He's got 20 employees. The business is growing. That is a very beautiful story, Dieudonné. And well done, you, your wife, and many other people that you work with. So we've had Dieudonné's story and Shakila's story. I need to mention, he also credits Youth Connect. Youth Connect, Aguka, and Ministry of Youth and Arts for all the support, financial support and every other support. He credits them and thanks them for that. Those are stories that show that when the right support meets the right ambition, we will definitely see transformation. We're going to take about 4 minutes break. Please don't leave the room. We will have Millie's band entertainers as we set up for the panel discussion that is coming up next, where we're going to discuss in detail everything that has happened on the stage so far. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just 4 minutes break. You can respond to that phone call or reply the SMS, and then we'll come back with the panel discussion. Millie's band.
We can go on pretending day by day that somewhere we should make a change.
We are all a part of our great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice to make it. We saving our lives. It's true to make a better day. Just you and me. Oh, mend in your heart, so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free, as God has shown us by turning stone to bread. So we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice to make it. We saving our lives. It's to make a better day. Just you and me. So we're down and out. There's still no hope at all. And if we just believe, there's nowhere we can fall. Well, let us realize, oh, there's no can only come when we stand together as one. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice to make it. We're saving our lives. It's to make a better day. Just you and me. Oh, we are the world, we are the children, we are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice to make it. We saving our lives. It should make a better day. Just you and me. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for you all belong to your loads. If you just call me, call me now. Call me, call me now. Call me, call me. Call me, just call me. Call just me. Call me. Call me. Hey, call me now. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call me. When you need a hand, when you need a friend, oh, when you need a hand, when you need a hand, just call me, call me, call me, call me. No mountain's too high for you to climb. All you have to do is have climbing faith. Oh yeah. No river's too wild for you to make it across. All you have to do is believe your way. You pray, and then you will see the morning will come, and all of your days will be bright as the sun. All of your fears, cast them on me. I just want you to see I'll be your cloud, I'll be on the sky. I'll be your shoulder when you cry. I hear your voices when you call me. I am your angel, and when all hope is gone, I'm here. No matter how far you are, I'm here. It makes no difference who you are. I am your angel. I am your angel. I saw the teardrops and I heard you cry. All you need is time. Seek me and you shall find. You have everything, but you still feel lonely. You don't have to be this way. Let me show you a better day. And then you will see the morning won't come, and all of your days will be bright as the sun. All of your fears, cast them on me. How can I make you see? I'll be your cloud, I'll be on the sky. I'll be your shoulder when you cry. I'll hear your voices when you call me. I am your angel, and when all hope is gone, I'm here. No matter how far you are, I'm here. It makes no difference who you are. I am your angel. I am your angel. I am your angel. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are amazing. Thank you. A loud round of applause for Millie's band. You've got such beautiful voices. Thank you so much. And now we request those that are outside the room kindly, if if you could stay back in so that we can kick off our panel discussion. Thank you. We're going to have a conversation on scale. You've heard the stories, you have seen the data. We're now going to see, what do we do with those things? What do we do with all the information that we've taken in since we started our event this morning? I would love to invite on stage the PS, Ministry of Public Service and Labor, that's me Fortran, Clema Kabiriji. Good to see you, Clement. I'd love to invite UNFPA Country Representative, Dr. Olugbemiga Adelakin. Good to see you. And next, I would love to invite founder and CEO of DCAM Limited, Diane Mkasahaha. Good to see you, Diane. And following closely, Social Protection Specialist at the World Bank, Sifa Uwera. Good to see you, Sifa. We also have Director Business Development at BRD, Jean-Claude Ilibonier. Good to see you, Jean-Claude. I would love to invite Hawa Nijana, CEO, WizUp Limited. Hawa. She stepped outside? Okay, Hawa, we will have a join as soon as she comes back in. And to moderate this conversation, please join me as I invite the Deputy Resident Representative, UNDP Rwanda, Nana Chinbua.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. I'm trying to find Hawa. She's our entrepreneur, so we definitely need her on the stage, but she must be selling outside. But as we wait for Hawa to join us, because we are already behind time, good afternoon, panelists, and good afternoon, everyone. I will start with a quick introduction, and I'm sure Hawa will join us shortly. Before I invite the panelists to speak, I wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. You will note that I'll be referring to them by their first name, and that lack of protocol is by design. And it's not only because of the youthful vibe we have in here, but it's really because of the spirit of partnership behind Aguka, where we have from government to entrepreneurs to the private sector, everyone collaborating to try and resolve these issues. So please bear with me, my panelists. I know you are all very esteemed, and so I hope no one offends that. Now to the business at hand. We saw from the very impressive presentation, the tracker study, some important numbers, which shows that Rwanda has really made youth and jobs the heartbeat of NST2. The government wants 1.25 million productive jobs. This is not a small number at all. Welcome, Hawa. No worries at all. But the profit you made out there, tell us about it later. Welcome. Yes, generating this number of jobs is not going to be a small feat. But Aguka, funded by the European Union and implemented by UNDP and government of Rwanda, was launched to support this ambition. And this morning, you heard the evidence yourself. Out of about 2,000 beneficiaries that were surveyed, we noted that over 168,000 cumulative jobs have already been created between 2022 and 2025. This has resulted in 34 billion income generated and about a 93% response rate. And if you have ever tried to survey anyone, you know it's extremely difficult to get them to respond to your surveys. So this is an important achievement that the Aguka program has really accomplished. But let's leave the numbers alone for a second. The numbers will tell us a story, but the numbers alone are not enough. Today we heard the statistics. We really want to understand what is now the stories that are behind the numbers. And that is why it was so important that we lead this process with one of our entrepreneurs who has lived the experience. And hopefully, from today's conversation, we will know how to take this story forward and bring it to scale. And the next chapter will even be better. So, I want to first ask Howard, who is with us today, how has your business, which has been a part of the evidence we heard from the Tracer study, how has your journey been? Where did you start? And what difference did Aguka make to your journey?
Thank you so much. It's not easy to speak after running, but I'll try. My name is Nigena Hawa Chloe, and I'm the CEO for WizUp. I graduated from RICA in 2023. I was part of student from RICA, and my journey is actually amazing. The how I started WizUp. After graduation, I knew in my heart that I want to join business. But I had a lot of skills from RICA in processing, in crops. I didn't know what to start with. I knew how to do juices, jam, mayonnaise. I didn't know what to start with. And then when I went in December, I went to the market. I saw the mangoes. It was like 30 bags of mango down ripened, and suppliers or sellers were asking themselves, what are we going to do with this mango? Because there is a period which we say is a peak period of fruits. And when I saw that, I said, this I can actually link with what I started and then create something. In the meantime, if you see the availability of juices in the Rwandan market, most of them are not nutritious. Most of them made from chemicals, what and what. Then I said I can use a fruit and make a nutritious drink. That's when I started. So I started from home, from my parents' kitchen. We did something, partitioning of the garage thing. I started using a blender. Could you imagine? I did my first sample, I took it to the market. And then people were like, okay, we can try it. They tried it. After, for like a week, they called me, they're over, and they said, oh, this is nice. That was one of the things that kept me like doing and then taking the market. Then I was one day in youth things for the district, and then they introduced me to Aguka thing. And then I applied and then joined. It was amazing. We did a lot of trainings, even some mentorship. But the big thing with the Aguka thing is that they support you. They teach you and then support you. Someone who gives you skills and then support you financially, it's a big thing. I remember I was part of people who won. I won 7 million Rwandan francs from the AgriConnect sector. And I used the money to purchase a juice extractor. It means a juice processing machine, industrial juice processing machine. It is magic. They call it in Kinyarwanda, umuntu ugukura ku isuka. Do you get it? Kuva kuri blender and then to coming from a blender and then to go to an industrial juice processing machine. It's amazing. It's actually a miracle. And also I did do the standardization thing. Now I'm satisfied. I'm certified. I have S-Mark. You can find my product not only in a supermarket in Rubavu, but also in Kigali, Simba, everywhere you can find our product. So that's how I started, and it was really, really nice. Thank you.
We're clapping already. That is really a miracle equipment that we got from Aguka. But you know, the Tracer study told us, Howard, that the businesses from Aguka survive. We know it's one thing to start, and it's another thing to be able to survive after a year or two. Can you tell us what is the one key difference that helped you expand from starting your journey?
The one key thing I think is the support, because people don't actually understand what it takes for someone to scale or expand. Actually, to start a business, you just need creativity and determination. That's creativity to create your thing, and then the determination to make people understand. If they say no, you go back, you go back. That's the one thing that you need to start. But to scale is investment. You actually need money. If right now I'm supplying in 3 districts, let's say Rubavu, Musanze, let's say in Kigali, if I want now to supply the whole Kigali, it's money we are talking about. I need a lot of bottles, boxes, juices, employees, it's money. So to scale, it's money. That's where Aguka came in. And we actually need more. Last time, we actually got a grant. It was a matching grant. And they was asking for loan. We have to get the grant itself and also a loan. I went in the banks, the Rwandan banks. I do work with BK. I went in BK, I&M, they were like, you need the collateral, you need the collateral. I was saying, how am I going to take the capital and buy the collateral? What am I going to serve on the market? People don't understand that to expand, you just need money. You saw my friend here, Shakira, you saw her? She's a good friend of mine. She got a market from Senegal, a contract, big contract. She was supposed to supply a container of chili. And we said, we actually have to look for money. We went into banks, collateral. It's not that easy, but we are trying. Yeah. But so it's actually investment. Yeah.
Excellent. We've heard how investments. I want us to keep this at the back of our minds. So we'll come back to this, Howard. But before we come to scaling and the need for additional investment, I wanted to talk a little bit to Clement and as well as Adelaken and Sifa about job creation and the ecosystem, because we've heard there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in this area. 168,000 jobs is no small feat. But then only 23.5% of that comes from or is qualified as decent jobs, right? Which means the other 76.5%, which are real jobs, but are more casual, short-term, and without the contracts that are needed. So I want us to deliberate on this a little bit. Clement, if you can help us understand, Rwanda has committed to creating 1.25 million productive jobs under NST2. This is the target. And today we heard where we are on the way, and it looks very achievable if these efforts continue. But can you tell us some of the strategies government has put in place and how we are going to achieve this target, and also how programs like Aguka can be made a more powerful vehicle for this ambition?
Thank you. Test. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Thank you very much, moderator. Maybe before addressing that straight, I would like to highlight an important element on how this forum is very important. For those who don't speak in Yolanda, so of course, Jackie and Jiramata not included. So Aguka means expand or scale or grow. In the context of youth-led businesses, I don't need to make a lot of interpretation. The message is clear. expand. So from the kitchen blender to industrial production, that is expand. That is what Aguka means. And is in brief, this is what the government is investing in. And testimony is proof that we are getting there. So if I highlight just one more finding from the establishment census, between 2020 and 2023, the number of establishments in the country grew from 232,000 plus to 269,000 plus. So that's a 15.9% increase. So that itself is expansion. So nabyo bwabyo nuko Aguka. So I'm glad that the Aguka program itself is expanding, and we are currently heading into this into another phase. So and actually 95%, more than 95% of these establishments are private sector. Now to where we are still expanding. So when I was touring in the lobby where the young entrepreneurs are, I was asking questions related to the sizes of their teams. How many employees are in their businesses? And I won't share the findings here. But the establishment census highlights that 92.2% of the enterprises are micro and small. That means they employ less than 4 people. So basically the story would be the majority of the enterprises are sole proprietorships that employ between 1 and 3 people, the owner included. It doesn't mean that the journey is to be demeaned, but this is now where we are. This is the current phase where we are reaching. So we are investing into getting to make sure that these businesses expand and grow through market recapture, through access to other markets, through innovative access to finance products. So the message is Aguka in that imperative form. That means please expand. Now, with regards to the strategies that the country and the economy have. So I am deliberately underlining the economy itself because this is not just the government. It is everyone. Government, private, development partners, individual businesses, everyone on board. The set of strategies are not only anchored in the NST2 itself, but there is a national strategy for employment and skills itself, the NES. So it is structured around 4 pillars in a holistic approach. So the first pillar is skills development, so which looks at improving the employability of the graduates of the higher learning institutions and those from the TVET programs to make sure that the employability grows from 70% to at least 85%, but also aligning the market needs, the demand and the supply of skills development. So the government works on a framework that makes TVET training aligned to the occupations in demand. So the second pillar is around entrepreneurship and business support, which is where the Aguka program fits itself. So yeah, it aims to create jobs through supporting MSMEs to grow and diversify the markets. So because there is a benefit of the economies of scale. For instance, when you look at her business, you would notice that it's a type of supply chain. So it's not only her business, but there is also she must be sourcing for packaging, for instance, or for raw materials. So by making her business expand, that means other businesses are expanding inherently. The third pillar is about job matching and employment services. The main activity is the mainstreaming of employment into all services, all programs. So now for every component, for every major project, for every sector, there is a deliverable on job creation. And that puts us in a position to identify the sectors with the highest employment elasticity. So what I mean here is the potential that a particular sector has to create jobs, including direct jobs, but also induced jobs. Just highlighting one example, her job is a result of the growth in the agriculture sector. So once we invest more in agriculture and have more agriculture production, it creates job into agro-processing. It creates job into the transport sector, because from the farm to the factory, someone is gaining a job. And then her business is creating jobs in supermarkets and local stores. So that is what is meant by employment elasticity, and it gets to inform the government and all of us about the priority sectors that should be targeted if we want to accelerate job creation and business growth. So the fourth and final pillar is the coordination framework. And I am glad that we are here today from a diversity of partners. So those who are involved in skills development, entrepreneurship promotion, and all other sectors, private sectors, development partners, and everyone involved is on board for such a forum. So this is one of the examples of what the country and the economy is doing to foster strengthened collaboration. So, and what should programs like these ones do to contribute more? So, of course, I would highlight that the programs need to expand. They need to Aguka themselves. So for programs with a competition component, like the Youth Connect, Aguka, and others, there is it's very easy to miss out on initiatives with a huge potential just because they weren't able to make it to the podium. So we have an ultimate winner, but those ones who are not losers, they are not losers. They are the second and third and fourth best winners, have a huge potential. Just highlighting one example. Most of us pass by the Stafford coffee shop heading south. I once passed by with a group of colleagues when I was working with Imbuto Foundation, and we noticed that in a clothing store close to Stafford, the owner was a participant in the Atranda Ubuhanzi program, but he had to introduce himself to us because we didn't know him. He's one of the participants who did not make it to the final, but he still found his way to expand outside the program. So that means as the program expands, the aftercare component needs to look into how incorporating more than just the winners. So the census that I mentioned highlights that the survival rate is currently at 35% for micro businesses, 63% for small businesses, and 93% for medium enterprises. So for a program where, like with a competition component, most of the times it's either one individual or a group of 3 or 4. So they are most likely to be into the small and the micro parts. So we need to still invest in a lot of mentorship for these ones as well. So basically that's where the homework is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clement, for that comprehensive response. And it's very clear that the strategy is well thought out, right? Because we are looking at the value chain. We are looking at mainstreaming across all sectors. And one thing you need, from what Clement is saying, that the jobs are going to increase across all the sectors. But you need something to be able to participate and take advantage of these job increases. And it's something that my boss, the lady in orange, Jeremata, has introduced in our office. Colleagues, we have to exercise every Friday. Under the they say health is wealth, and particularly for UNFPA, how would you say that investing in the health of the youth is extremely important in their ability to not just create the jobs, but be able to participate in decent jobs?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Yes, I think for me, I was already excited that we could see decent jobs already out there at the gallery when we were going through. I saw a young man that has done a painting that he wants to sell for 2.5 million Rwandan francs. I don't think I heard that in one day myself. Yeah, but I think we have decent jobs, and I'm happy that the focus now is how do we scale these decent jobs. And as we say that your health is your wealth, I was listening to the earlier presentation where this said combined revenue and profit is $54 billion. I was like, wow, this is fantastic achievement within a very short time. But something also occurred to me as I was saying that these are young people, bringing about these ideas and also executing these businesses. And I know that apart from war, one other thing that can wipe off 54 billion out of any economy is health issues, both at the personal level for the young people and also at the national level for the country. At the personal level, we all know that no matter how much you have or what you have, the moment you're sick, you're incapacitated, or you're in the hospital, you forget about everything. Everything becomes irrelevant. It's only your health that is important. And I also noticed that in everything we've said, we've not talked about the health of the young people that are doing these things. Because if somebody gets, any form of deadly diseases, especially those that are related to sexual and reproductive health, because amongst young people, the primary concern for health is not cancer and all those things that we all bother about as we age. There are issues that have to do with the reproductive system. So that's why we think that it's very important, as we say health is wealth, that we focus on the aspect of health that really can derail most of the good achievements that we've had by getting involved with young people. So the popular slogan that health is wealth is not a guarantee, it's not automatic. Health can also be a liability if we don't invest in our health at the personal level and also as a country. Because if you have HIV, even if you have all the medication and all that stuff, it derails your progress. You need to give a part of your profit to buy drugs, to, even treat other ailments. Or, for example, if you get pregnant before you're ready, before time, we heard the very beautiful story of Shakira. But we want to create more Shakiras without creating the experience of Shakira. We want more Shakiras out there, but we don't want them to go through the pains that Shakira had to go through because of her experience of early teenage pregnancy. That's why we think that not only talking about health holistically, but talking specifically about sexual and reproductive health amongst this population is going to help us not only drive more jobs or decent jobs, but it's also going to create a healthy population for Rwanda as a country. Because we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, they are the future of tomorrow, but if they are not healthy, they cannot do much. And that's why at individual levels, we are talking to young people to take their own destiny into their own hands. As you are doing the entrepreneurship, you are doing the innovation, please, you need to also focus on your health in terms of your practices and behaviors and what you do. And that's why we are also working with government at the national level, because the big ambition that Rwanda has by 2050 cannot be achieved if the population is not healthy. And we know that young people made at least 1/3 of the population. So we want to make sure that amongst those populations, we have enlightened population, not only educated, but people that are self-aware to be able to make informed decisions to protect themselves from all devices that we have in the society currently, including mental health, that is sort of a pandemic amongst young people. So Shakira is not the only one there. She's the success story that we have, but there are tens of thousands. According to the DHS that was released last year, the teenage pregnancy rate in Rwanda is 8%. And if you do the rough calculation, 8% of 15 million, let's say there are 50 boys and girls in the population, you have at least 250,000 young ladies that are predisposed to having teenage pregnancy if we don't act at the right time. So addressing sexual and reproductive health is not only beneficial to the individual, it's also beneficial to the country to be able to achieve its demographic dividends and really create all the decent jobs that we want, but also scale the jobs that we want to other parts of the country and also other parts of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We often take our health for granted, but that's an important point. Mental, physical, and sexual reproductive health is quite important for individuals to enable you to be able to hold on to the decent job once it's created. I wanted us to touch base very quickly with CIFA. The World Bank is in many countries. I'm going to ask you to do a bit of comparison between Rwanda and the other countries. But before I get to that, I just wanted to hear from you very quickly. Can you please tell us, across the different countries you've worked in, job creation, we all know, starts normally informally, right? So what is the process and how do we get the youth who starts on the informal basis to really scale up and become more formal?
Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Nana. Let me start by saying that I think every one of us who starts or leaves a school, their work is mostly a casual job, or if they are successful enough, get a job abroad, or they have some finances or some families can support, they establish an entrepreneur. They become an entrepreneur. However, I think Rwanda is doing its best. We are still yet to get there. Nonetheless, I think what we can do is not only to look at informality just as an exception, because it happens in all the developing economies. What we need to do is to build a bridge that links those informal jobs into the into the formal jobs, formalizing them. We can get them to a better workplace, and all we can do as well is to look at other examples. I think we are told that we're not supposed to look at our own scenario alone. So just last week, we were at a community of practice where in Africa, we've established an Africa community of practice that was launched actually here in Kigali last February 2024 through a South-South Learning Forum. And in this, we are seeing a lot of good models coming up. One of them is what I'm going to highlight. Well, a couple of more. In Bangladesh, I'll give you an example. What are they doing to formalize all these informal or informalities that are existing? They are building bridges. They are recognizing that the place of real work is out there, and we can get real skills by acknowledging that those real skills are important. Bangladesh has done that, and as a result of that recognition of prior learning, they've created that bridge to understand that we do not lose what we've already attained, but rather we build on it to create more opportunities, to create bigger businesses, linking these informal jobs into bigger and wider opportunities. Now, that is just Bangladesh. How has it done it? There's a framework that Bangladesh has built. It's looking at what are the standards that we want to learn in the school. What are those standards? Can we link those exams with the skills that have been attained already? That is a framework, and once they expose these young people to those frameworks and they do the exams, actually they do better. Some women have really gotten good opportunities in bigger and better jobs as a result of that kind of framework. So I think real examples, that is one of them. But it doesn't stop at that. We've seen other opportunities in other countries like Kenya. Kenya has taken over the community of practice chairship, thanks to the Ambassador Christie, who passed on the baton to Kenya because of the opportunities that they're creating. They've created a big flagship program called Nyota. Now, in this program, youth or young people are actually leveraging what they have within their own localities. They're looking at the opportunities. What is it that I have and I can explore within my own, they call them words. I would call them imidugudu in Rwanda, I think, the equivalent of. What are the real needs? What can I do with the farmers within this particular community? And they're not leveraging on those opportunities. They are also earning for actually doing those mappings. They map out those opportunities, the farmers, but also have established a different partnership, and there are lots of other partnerships, including aggregators, who link them to the suppliers. So they carry a bag. That bag has made them entrepreneurs. They are carrying inputs, agriculture inputs, so they've become extension workers, at the same time entrepreneurs. They are earning from doing the training. After the training on these quality products, people are saying, okay, give us these particular products that you've trained us in. And they've had these contracts already leveraged for them because the government of Kenya has helped them to establish that MOU that links them to these particular suppliers who have quality products that they can provide to these farmers. And through that, they are not only depending on that training money, but also in this handbag that they are carrying, or this backpack. Yeah, backpack, I would say. The backpack is a shop for them. They don't need to do much. They only need to carry that backpack and add a small amount, which has also been negotiated for them. You can add a small percentage because you're linking supply and demand at the same time. So beyond that, I think we've also seen other models. And I want to bring also the Philippines model. Philippines has established a standalone department. It's called the Department of Migrant Workers. I think everyone who's probably traveled abroad has seen either a Filipino working in a hotel. They are the ones manning the hospitals. They are the nurses. So they understand that there's scope in labor mobility. And they've worked with these governments who are receiving this particular workforce to establish a standard. What is it that you need for our workers to actually get a job in your own country? And they've worked on a framework. This is the curriculum. We train them. Those who don't go will stay in your hospitals, and that's quality as well. So they've maintained these particular individuals in their hospitals, but at the same time are sending. And they're not only looking at that aspect. They're negotiating deals for them. They are negotiating better working conditions. They are negotiating pay. It's all circle. And when they come back, they look at reintegration. So it's a full circle of how these decent jobs can not only bring benefits to you, but also create the decency and the safety and a whole circle of dignity as well. And how you plow back that money back to your own family and your own livelihoods. So that, I think, those are 3 models I've already given to you. If we can emulate that and even create something big and call it a flagship program. Nyota has created it as a flagship program where all these other models, the Agukas, the Youth Connect, and they link in. If we can plug all those small bits and pieces and avoid this fragmentation, we are doing a good job. Yes, we are. But are we not duplicating? Are we not fragmenting? How can we work better together? How can we leverage work opportunities that are in agriculture? How can we leverage work opportunities that are in agribusiness or in environment, creating or leveraging on the digital economy? There are lots of opportunities, but we need to, I think, come together to a round table where we look at those opportunities and bring them together into one main flagship program. And every project will stem from that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sifa. And oh, a hand. Not take your shine away, but no, I think that's a very important point. And you can hear from what Clement said that government is already moving in that direction of that portfolio approach, integrating and having one program that supports, links the dots for all these other issues. We are doing very well in one, if I should say so myself, but as you shared, there's still more we can learn and see what is adaptable here. So thank you very much for that. I want us to now look at another finding from the study. And it's actually another important one that deserves a bit of attention. We heard, and it leads very well from the conversation of formalization, because we heard about 68% of the jobs are still remaining informal. Now, let's not be alarmed, because from Aguka, 31.8% of the jobs created are actually formalized, which is more than 12% of the rest of the national average. So this is good progress, and Aguka is making a very real difference. But the gender gap is quite stark. 79% of the women-led enterprises remain informal, compared to the 59% of men-led enterprises. So we all know formalization is not gender neutral, but formality also matters. So how do we really unlock the finance and unlock the markets and unlock the protection for women-led enterprises? Howard, you are not only our model entrepreneur, but you are also a woman. So of course, I'm going to start with you. But I want to know, what has been your experience in formalizing your business? Are there rooms? Over here, we have ministers, we have CEOs from the banks, we have development partners. So just plain language, help us understand what is the one thing that would make a difference for a young woman-led entrepreneur like yourself to formalize their business?
Thank you so much. When it comes to formalization, it's a really key important things because, you know, when your business is formal, you get a lot of partners. Let's say investors, financial institution, they find you with a formal structured, well business, and then they invest in you. It's a really good thing, but which also requires not only skills. Let me say like this, when you want to formalize something, you want to set systems, you want also to attract trainings for employees or everything that also go back to investment. But it's a really good thing that we need as business owners to invest in it and also to give it time. But what I think is needed is to train ourselves. So if I know that my factory is not yet formal, but I know like a factory like Masaka or all other big brands are formal, we have to learn from them. These parts, it have a lot of percentage with the owners or the CEOs prayer in it, because we don't have to, we have this mindset to stay informal, because some of us, we join the business market without experience from the job market. So we actually have to learn and then adapt, not only to stick on what you know, but also adapt, learn from other entrepreneurs or invest people who have good system. As I said, right now I'm using, let's say, a system called Kaiko. I learned it from Youth Connect. That system, you have to call people, pay them, invest in them for you to have a good bookkeeping system, you to have contracts for the employees, the inventory system well structured in one software. So we need also the investment to attract people who know more and who have good tools that we don't have. Yeah, it also come back to you learning, investing in learning, and also you investing in things that you don't have. Yeah.
Excellent advice, huh? Yeah, the business development aspect of the work, you really need to continue learning process. We have another woman-led entrepreneur with us today, Diane. And Diane holds a special place in my heart because I happened to go to her factory and she had a whole fashion show with all the young entrepreneurs who had actually made their own clothes and put up the fashion show. So Diane, we want to hear from you. You are another woman-led entrepreneur who has lived the experience, and you have worked very closely with a lot of the young entrepreneurs who have gone through the Aguka entrepreneurship apprenticeship program. Can you share what you have observed on the ground from the youth? And what role do you see the private sector playing in supporting not just you as an employer, but being a real partner in helping the youth to lead their own businesses?
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you, the Minister of Youth. Thank you, partners. It is really an opportunity for us to sit here in front of you to share a very good experience whereby as business people, we have been struggling with getting workers, and now we are really confident to have 400 people employed by our own factory, and among them, 150 have been graduated from Aguka program. Talking more about our experience, to us, we were thinking, or just like considering youth employment as a burden. But now we really see them as opportunity, because among our trainees, we are now getting the new name, what we call business or sister companies, because 8 of them went beyond the box or beyond the the plan and created also their own companies. So now they are also employing new people. I was surprised, I was amazed to see one of them here just presenting her product, and she was telling me now, she was just sharing her experience. Now she's hiring 20 people from just our first cohort. So this is really what we call successful story that is going beyond business, but just demonstrating the impact, the entire impact, whereby business people can contribute to the development of skills, employment. And now, just talking about our experience, even my personal experience, I was not really expecting us training people, but we were just focusing on our businesses. But now we feel like we are creating a platform whereby we can train people and just provide our experience to the new coming businesses or companies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. She was very impressed to see one of her graduates here who is now employing 20 people and has scaled up her work. So this brings us full circle to the beginning of the conversation, where Howard told us that the one thing you need to scale, Aguka, to go to scale, is investment. Jean-Claude just looked away from me because he knows I'm coming to him. BRD. So please, let's talk about access to finance. This was clear from the Tracer study that this is one of the most important barriers, is access to finance for the young people. So Jean-Claude, please help us. How can financial institutions support entrepreneurs early in their journey? And also, what financing model works for entrepreneurs who lack collateral but show very strong potential to enable them to scale?
Thank you, Nana. Thank you very much. I think access to finance was one of the key, I would say, takeaway when we were actually, the moderator was asking which 3 things that you've taken from the speakers. I think for me, the first thing was access to finance, the second access to finance, and the third access to finance. But actually, I want probably to start with a positive note. The money is there. So the money is there. I think the most important issue or challenge is actually the banking system is not actually aligning the early stage kind of business. So we find ourselves the products that are available in the market. There are many what we usually call traditional financing, which is usually find they are requiring collaterals, as I was saying. They want you to have contribution of such amount of money. So many things. So probably they want you to prove them that you are bankable before they give you financing. So now, I would probably, as I explained, I would also touch on what we are doing as BRD, because we have a flagship project called Kataza. Maybe some of you have heard it. It's being we are working in partnership with MasterCard Foundation. So we're trying to support the micro and small businesses, mostly early stage kind of business. So what we did that is different is actually we are designing product that is tailor-made to the small, micro, early stage businesses where we don't require collateral. We find the de-risking instruments to use, but also we don't require contribution because we know at early stage, if you start asking those kind of requirements, then it becomes a problem. So then we've started actually designing what we usually call microloans, which actually are very aligned with the cash flow. Because sometimes, as I was saying, the traditional loans, they give you money today and then you start paying the next month, but yet you haven't even started generating cash flow, which is actually a very big challenge, especially on small and early stage businesses. So we design products on different value chains that actually, and then we make sure the features of that particular product matches very well with what actually the needs of the business in terms of cash flow, in terms of tenure, and so on. So, and also there's an element of graduated financing. That's also an element we have put in because we want to see the scale up within it. So we don't expect to see someone come to borrow 1 million and then next year 1 million again and again. So we want to see people growing gradually as they also grow their business. So with the Kataza, we done the product. We've started actually with agriculture. So far, we have 11 crops that we are financing, and also we are supporting the hospitality and tourism. So, and we started as a pilot. So we are working into in 17 districts. But again, we, as I said, it's a pilot. So we want to expand across the country and also include other sectors of activities. So I would say the first challenge is the product that are on the market. We actually design in a way that matches the early stage businesses. There's also an issue which was also actually mentioned in the reports, the findings of lack of information. So the financial records, actually those small businesses, that's actually one of the biggest challenges that also banks are facing. So what we did is within the Kataza program, so we developed a credit scoring model. So try to avoid asking someone, give me the information, but rather try to find information on the particular sector, on the market, and then be able to actually model around it without necessarily wanting to see someone like Yedono who's doing some, handcraft. How can we develop a model that is actually taking into consideration all the parameters of that particular value chain? So as I said, we started in agriculture, we started specifically for maize, where now instead of a small farmer coming to the bank with, a paper or project done, rather they actually come up with the ID and UPI number, and then we do everything within the credit scoring model, where we can easily know the size of the land, can see also the suitability, the crop suitability of that particular land. You can easily know how much they need in terms of inputs, seeds, fertilizers, and so on. And then we come up with our own model and we determine how much that particular farmer needs to be financed. And we did that to make sure that we try to move away of all those challenges that I'm talking about. And also another very important element is also the digitalization, as I was saying. So how do you make access to finance more convenient, especially youth and especially women? Because we've seen whenever you go into the bank, it's a bit of, you get scared. The structure, the jargons that we use in the bank and so on. So sometimes the borrowers, especially the young people, they struggle to understand and to communicate with banks. So that's why the same platform, the youth actually apply through the platform and put the information that I was just mentioned, and then the banks can see the application and all the details that are associated with that. So, but again, that's not only the only challenge that is there. It's also the type of funding actually they are getting. Because the interest rate is their challenge. Market. I think what we are trying also to do is to make sure how can we start providing an interest rate that is more affordable in terms of number. So our aim is actually to target single digit, not easy. But usually when we get partners, we try to do a blending financing, and then we manage to come up with a single digit financing, especially on the Kataza, we are lending at 9%, and all inclusive with no other fees associated. So we can give ample time, the tenor, the grace period. If someone is doing something that requires maybe 1 year or 2 years to start generating enough cash flow to pay back the loan, then we also structure the financing that way. So another very important element is actually the risking aspect. So one of the key challenges that actually, especially youth, are actually facing is collateral requirement banks. So what we did actually from even the merge of the acquisition of BDF, I think probably you have had the information. So we come up with a portfolio guarantee scheme, which was not there before. So where we actually giving banks portfolio guarantee so that they can now be able to lend to especially young people, because that's where the issue of collateral is actually very significant. So in the case of Kataza, if I just give you an example, we are actually providing the portfolio guarantee. They cover up to 80% for women and 70% for men. So which is actually enough for a bank to lend to the farmer without necessarily asking more additional collaterals. So I would say it's more where we are heading. I think it's very promising because we understand, and not only us, because our financing model actually, we are actually working with other financial institutions. So whatever I'm saying, even the katas, we're implementing it through circles, through microfinance institutions, also even commercial banks. So it's a model that we think is going to work and be expanded across the financial sector. And also it's going to be easier to plug in any other particular element or sector that maybe we want to support in the future.
See, there's a reason we leave the money man till the end. I was expecting a bigger clap for him. Thank you so much. How does that sound? Have you gone to BRD for a loan yet?
Yeah,
Yes.
I tried a Shabuka thing. We are in the way.
Okay, excellent. So it might be useful maybe to learn more, set you up with the youth and the young entrepreneurs to learn more how they can access the financing. But it sounds like there are some services available that you can tap into. So we are at the end of the panel discussion, and as you see, we went really full circle. We began with a number, right? 168,000 jobs created, and then we ended with something more concrete on how we scale that number and get more youth, not only to access the finance, but to be able to set up the necessary decent jobs to meet the 1.25 million target that NST2 has. We are ending with a realization that it's not just about the numbers or the strategies or the frameworks. It comes down to a person, right? We even looked at the health. It comes down to a business, a family, and a future for the youth. Rwanda has ambition, and Aguka has the evidence. And this room, everyone in this room has the power to act. The evidence is clear, the ambition is clear, and what matters now is our action to support the youth. So thank you very much, Marokoze Chani, to my panel members.
Thank you very much. Are we taking a group photo of the panelists? All right, my camera guys. Thank you. We'll have another photo. We'll have a group photo before we break off for lunch. Let's appreciate the panelists. As you heard from the moderator, Rwanda has the vision, Aguka has the evidence. Who has the money? We need the money. Who has the money? We know who has the vision. We know where the evidence is. We need the money. You're seated in this room. Start digging into your pockets. Let's see how to push the youth forward. We'll soon be coming to the end of the event. You've seen it all. You've heard it all. We've seen the Tracer study. We've heard from the young entrepreneurs. Jean-Claude put it well. The banking system is not aligned with the early stages of business. And I think that's the biggest struggle that young entrepreneurs face. That in the beginning, they have the little that they can start off with. But when it comes to running that capital, I saw a tweet that someone put out recently about young entrepreneurs in Rwanda. And he insinuated that some people will start the business because there is the starting capital. Then the rest of the money, the running capital, is not there. And you see, as John Claude said, when they go to BRD or when they go to another bank, they find that the bank is not accommodative of the fact that they are just beginners. The bank is asking for what the young entrepreneurs do not have. In most cases, they give up. The dreams just die. But not all hope is lost. As you've seen from the Tracer study, Aguka businesses are surviving. As we look forward to phase 2, as we look forward to supporting the key priorities outlined in NST2, among them job creation, supporting the young people, it is upon us sitting in this room and the many other partners that we have out there to come together and make this possible, to come together and make this work. I have a few questions for you that you will be thinking about as we end this day, but begin to think of our way forward. Who is ready to step forward and how are you doing that? What kind of support, maybe, as we prepare to conclude, what kind of support is your organization going to lend? I have a minute that I can use for the audience. Somebody wants to say something? Somebody wants to say something? Mentorship, bootcamp, financial? Well, let me go through my questions, then you tell me if you have the answer. If you have an answer to one of them or all of them, you'll put up your hand. Who is ready to step forward and how are you stepping forward? What policy or coordination shifts are needed? Who is strengthening delivery and implementation of those policies? And then, of course, above it all, who is backing all this with resources? We're setting up so that we have our concluding remarks, but I'd love to hear from Alice. Alice, BPN, you're working with young entrepreneurs all the time, throughout the year. Before I invite the Minister for the closing remarks, it will be good to hear what you have to say after you've witnessed what's going on here. And of course, you'll also share what the young people do tell you when they see you. That's such an ambush, eh? Jackie.
Yes. Well, I won't say much. I know we are all waiting for our lunch. I just want to appreciate mu Kinyarwanda kugira ngo mbwire urubyiruko rwacu ruri hano ko twishimye cyane kuri ibi twabonye, twizeye ko namwe mwishimye. Murishimye? Uko bigaragara abantu bashyize ingufu hamwe bagafatanya, ibintu byose birashoboka. Ariko kugira ngo bishoboke bisaba ko nabo ayo mahirwe yagenewe nabo bashyiramo akabo. Twabonye rero ukuntu mwabonye amahugurwa, mwabonye access to finance bamwe muri mwebwe, twabonye products nziza hano hanze. Ni ukuri ndibaza ko mvuga mu izina ry'abantu bose bari hano, bidukora ku mutima kubona ingufu mufite nk'urubyiruko, ariko cyane cyane na icyo twita potential. Icyo twita potential mu Kinyarwanda, sinzi niba ndi bubone umuntu umfasha, amahirwe ari imbere mbega, amahirwe mwese hamwe mufite yo kuba mwagira uruhare, atari urwo kwiteza imbere gusa, ahubwo no guteza imbere igihugu cyacu. Tukaba rero tubizeza ko nk'uko byagaragaye twaje hano kugira ngo twagure ibyakozwe kugeza ubu ngubu kubera mwebwe, tukagira ngo tubashimire kuko kugira ngo ibintu bigende neza bisaba ubunyangamugayo, bisaba, turabizi twese uko turi hano ko gukora business nta na rimwe byoroha, ntabwo rwose ntimugire ngo nubwo twishimye tuvuga ibintu byinshi byinshi turabizi ibibazo biba muri business ni byinshi cyane ni byinshi niyo umuntu n'abagiye batubwira success stories zabo tubahaye akanya batubwira ko ariko n'ibibazo bigihara kiri byinshi kubona abakiriya kubona amasoko kubona packaging kubona kumva ibikenewe byose kuyobora abakozi 20 ni ibintu natwe bakuze bitugora kuyobora timu biri mu bintu bigorana bishoboka ibyo byose rero tukaba tugira ngo tubizeze ko mutari mwenyine akaba ariyo mpamvu twaterani hano twese kugira ngo dukomeze dufatanye namwe amahirwe ingufu mwifitemo tubibyazemo iterambere tubafasheho kubaho neza namwe mugira uruhare no ku bandi bari inyuma yanyu ku rubyiruko so mu by'ukuri mwongere mwihe amashyi urubyiruko tukaba rero tunabemerera ko tuzakomeza kubafasha akaba ariyo mpamvu twese turi aha ngaha uru rugendo nirwo rugitangira tuzakomeza tubahugure and yes so Jackie over to you and I wish you good luck translating what I just said. I was just appreciating the youth. Yes, I was just appreciating the youth and the potential they have and what they have done so far with the opportunity received and committing that all of us, we are here to continue to grow with them and build the Rwanda we want. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. BPN is doing its part, the European Union is doing its part, UNDP, World Bank, and everyone else. Everyone is doing their part. If your organization has not stepped up yet, we do hope that you will. It's very possible for each one of us to work in silos, each one of us to come up with an initiative for the youth. But what's been showcased today is clear that Aguka is a vehicle that is working, and it could be the one place where we have to bring all of our efforts and resources together. All right, I would love to invite the Honorable Minister of Youth and Arts, Dr. Abdallah Utmatwishima, to give us his closing remarks and bring the event to an official end. Is it? Yes.
Mwiriwe muraho mwashonje ahari mwashonje ngende mu gisibo buriya ninjye nabikoze mwe so I want to first appreciate the presence of everybody, the representative of UN family. Actually, I'm very happy to say that Fatmata is now the acting resident coordinator, so she's coordinating everyone in the UN family. So she's in two hats here. And I want also to appreciate the presence of the Her Excellency Belen, Ambassador of the European Union. She has stepped out because of another engagement, but we want to appreciate her presence here. For those who are familiar with Aguka, it is sponsored, funded by the European Union and implemented by the UNDP in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and the Arts. This is the original, the organic Aguka. So we want to thank the funder, the sponsor, the implementer for a job well done. Ahanga ndashaka mujye mubaha amashi. Ndabizi mwashonje ariko you have to. Okay, thank you. We have invited a lot of partners because Aguka in itself, it has a problem. So imagine the program is called the Aguka. It means expand. Itself has also to expand. That's a big side effect of this name. So when we have done the tracer study, we found out that Aguka model is actually a good model for youth development, for youth empowerment. But Aguka itself has to go from Aguka
1 to Aguka 2.0. So that's why we have invited all these partners for a dialogue. We went from, for example, Diane from DICAM, who has been working with our entrepreneurs, young people, but also she has been part of the entrepreneurship for a long time. We wanted to learn from her. We wanted BRD as Access to Finance Institute to help us learn from them. We wanted to learn from these young people who have been part of Aguka, Hawa, and others in order to learn what we can do in the new Aguka 2.0. So this dialogue is not ending today, it's not ending here. We will continue it now drafting a new model that Aguka 2.0. So we want all the partners who have been part of this session to learn also to contribute when we are going to conceptualize the next phase. Second, I am glad to announce that when we have seen what was happening with the young people, those in Aguka, but also the preliminary data of the tracer study, we found out that access to finance is a big problem. Like Jean-Claude said, if they asked you, now what is the remaining gap? On number one, it's access to finance. Second, access to finance. And third, access to finance. So I'm glad to say that UNFPA, CRS, WFP, UNDP and EU again with Aguka contribution, we will launch this month officially an Aguka Youth Fund. A youth fund that is going to work like a Kataza and the other access to finance platforms to support young innovators, young entrepreneurs who have already a business and who want to expand a little bit. Because Aguka Youth Fund is still very young, we have only mobilized 1.5 billion. We are still mobilizing partners to put more money, but at least a prototype, an idea of how we can bridge, we can solve the issue of access to finance. UNFPA and the other partners that I have already mentioned are on board. I said UNFPA, CRS is putting some money, WFP is putting some money, EU and UNDP together, they are putting some money to make sure we try to solve this first issue of access to finance. So this month, we were supposed actually to launch it on Thursday, and we are planning to do it next week so that everybody, young people, you will know that this is happening. So those with good ideas, those with profitable business, they'll be able to access this fund. We will make sure it is accessible, even if it is not that big, but it shows you how the government of Rwanda and the partners, we care about the youth and also solve the issues according to evidence, now that we have the data. So the Ministry of Youth and Arts, when we meet here, you have to remember the arts part. So not only talking about youth, that's why I want to thank Millie's band. Where are you, Millie's band? Are you still here? Yes, Millie's band, thank you for the performance. Yes. So in the Aguka Youth Fund, we have also a creative part. Even the artists. When we talk about artists, we talk about the younger artists, we talk about also the seniors. They can access finance again also in the Aguka Youth Fund, but also in the BECA, Bank of Kigali, we have a big creative. It's another initiative where artists will be getting also access to finance. So I wanted to make sure that Millie's and team and other artists in the room, they get recognized also because we care about the artists as well. So I want to thank everybody and I want to wish you a great lunch. And I want to promise that we are going to continue to work on the Aguka 2.0, and we invite all the partners to be part of this, and we will make sure young people keep benefiting it because we have found out that Aguka idea as a model, it is working. And I appreciate the idea from the World Bank representative on the panel that we need always to think about putting things together, not work in silos.
so that young people can benefit greatly from a combined effort. So I thank you very much for attending this dialogue and have a great lunch.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I request you to remain on stage. I will request everyone to join you there so we can take our group photo. Yes, everyone will join you on stage for a group photo. Camera crew, please help organize us. Oh, guys, let's come for this souvenir one. Please, Gilbert. Don't. I know it's lunchtime. I am delaying this. But once we're done with the photo, we'll break off for lunch. This is a souvenir photo. You will remember the high-level dialogue, our theme today, from evidence to scale. We'll keep this photo because we're part of it. Others can go upstage, please. There's a lot of room, enough room for all of us. There's enough room for all of us. Make sure you're seeing the camera, because if you're not seeing it, it's not seeing you. Make sure you're seeing the camera, because if you cannot see the camera,